Hello everyone, and welcome back to the TV Days Drama Digest channel, your one and only destination for the juiciest, most detailed, and heart-wrenching recaps of days of our lives. If you missed today's episode airing on February 21st, buckle up because we're diving deep into the twists, betrayals, confrontations, and emotional chaos that unfolded today in Salem. This wasn't just an episode. It was a revelation, an implosion of secrets long buried, and a turning point for multiple families in this small town where no sin stays hidden forever. Let's begin with the explosive fallout that rocked the Kiriakis' mansion and tore through the fragile alliances built on lies. Xander learns the truth, and all hell breaks loose after weeks of doubt gnawing at the back of his mind. Xander finally uncovers the truth about the forged letter that was used to manipulate him. The one that was designed to tear apart his trust, sabotage his relationship, and throw his life into chaos. And the man behind it all? None other than Philip. It all began with a slip of the tongue, a hastily spoken phrase that didn't quite add up, and a confrontation that spiraled from tense to catastrophic in a matter of minutes. Philip's attempts to downplay the deception only made things worse. He tried to argue that it was a desperate act, a two-person scheme between him and Vivian that spiraled out of control. He swore to Xander that no one else knew, that Stephanie, Alex, and Sarah were innocent bystanders in a war of egos and jealousy. But Xander's instincts told him otherwise. And when he looked into Stephanie's eyes, then into Alex's, he saw something he couldn't ignore. Guilt. Silence. A shared unease. It didn't take long for him to realize the unthinkable. They knew. They had known for days, maybe even weeks. And they had chosen not to tell him, not to warn him, not to protect him from this cruel manipulation. His fists clenched. His voice wavered between fury and heartbreak. And for the first time in a long time, Xander felt truly alone. Betrayed not just by an enemy, but by those he once considered family. The fragile web of loyalty between Stephanie, Alex, and Sarah, it was never meant to go this far. Stephanie had found herself in a precarious position, caught between truth and loyalty. She had chosen silence, not out of malice, but out of fear. She feared that revealing the truth would destroy Sarah's marriage to Xander, plunge their lives into chaos, and undo the fragile healing that had just begun. Alex, standing by her side, agreed. The two had made a pact to protect Sarah's peace at all costs. Stephanie was tormented. Every time she saw Xander, the lie choked her like a chain around her neck. She wanted to speak, to confess, but the weight of potential consequences silenced her. Alex, torn between his own guilt and desire to shield Stephanie, supported her decision. But he too knew the day of reckoning would come. And now, their silence is being interpreted as betrayal. Xander, reeling from the revelation, is no longer just furious with Philip. He's turning that anger inward, wondering how he could have been so blind. And he's turning it outward too, on Stephanie, on Alex, and on the woman he thought he could build a future with. His world is crumbling. He storms out into the cold Salem night, the weight of betrayal thick on his shoulders. He doesn't know where he's going. He just knows he can't stay there, in that house full of ghosts and half-truths. And in the center of the wreckage stands Philip, who, after being exposed, is left with nothing but the clothes on his back and the weight of his own guilt. Philip's downfall, from deceiver to outcast after Xander furiously confronts him and demands he leave, Philip is unceremoniously thrown out of the Kiriakis' mansion. It's a moment that marks more than just a physical eviction. It's the culmination of years of jealousy, rivalry, and emotional instability. He wanders Salem, displaced and despondent, until he finds himself on Belle's doorstep. Their history is complicated. Belle, who once defended Philip as his lawyer, has been reluctantly drawn back into his orbit. Philip, with nowhere else to turn, confesses everything, every lie, every half-truth, every manipulative move. He pleads for understanding and, perhaps, redemption. Belle listens, her expression unreadable. She's torn. Part of her wants to shut the door and walk away. Another part remembers the boy she used to care for, the one who was once so full of promise. But what she cannot ignore is the damage he's caused. Philip will come to regret dragging her into this mess again. And perhaps, in some quiet corner of his fractured heart, he already does. Rex faces the shadows of his family's past. Meanwhile, in another corner of Salem, a storm is brewing within the Brady household. Rex, seemingly acting on nothing more than instinct, begins rummaging through Kate's drawers. What he finds sends a chill down his spine: a gun. It's not just any weapon, it matches the description of the one used in EJ's shooting. Roman, walking in on the scene, immediately demands answers. Tension fills the room. Suspicion hangs in the air like smoke from a fire not yet put out. Could Kate have been responsible for the shooting? Kate denies it vehemently. She looks Rex in the eye and insists she didn't pull the trigger. Not on EJ. Not on anyone. But her voice trembles just slightly. Her past is checkered. Her moral compass doesn't always point north. And even though Rex wants to believe her, he isn't sure he can. Roman watches quietly, his face unreadable. He doesn't want to believe it either. But a part of him wonders, what else has Kate been hiding? He vows to keep a closer eye on her. A mother's sorrow and a son's silence at the hospital, the mood is somber. Susan Banks enters the room where her son, EJ DiMera, lies in a medically induced coma. The beeping of the monitors is the only sign of life in the sterile room. Susan approaches EJ's bedside with tears in her eyes and whispers words only a mother could say, words of hope, of love, of faith in his recovery. She clutches his hand, gently smoothing the hair from his forehead, willing him to wake up, to come back to her. She knows EJ. She knows he's strong. But she also knows that his enemies are many and that the wounds he bears are not just physical. They are emotional, deep, buried. Susan doesn't know who shot her son. But she knows one thing for certain. She won't rest until the person responsible is brought to justice. And as she weeps silently beside him, a shadow passes by the door. Someone's watching. Someone who knows more than they're letting on. Her sobs echo through the hallway, unanswered. What happens next in Salem? Today's episode of Days of Our Lives was nothing short of devastating. Old wounds were reopened. New lies were exposed. And relationships that once seemed unbreakable are now teetering on the edge of collapse. Will Xander confront Sarah next? Will Philip face legal charges for his deceit, or will he escape justice once again? Can Stephanie and Alex salvage what's left of their relationships? And what is the truth behind the gun found in Kate's drawer? Will Susan's cries for justice lead to answers, or deeper tragedy? As we move forward, Salem is more divided than ever, and every character is facing a reckoning. No secret is safe. No lie can remain hidden forever. We hope you enjoyed it and look forward to sharing more with you in the future. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe TV Days Drama Digest for more updates on Days of Our Lives.